My name is Father Michael Stalla. I am the spiritual director for Hope's Garden. And today I'd like to talk to you about the emotion anger. So, a lot of times when we're children, we do things that we're not supposed to do. We might smack somebody else or break something or throw a tantrum. And we're asked, why did you do that? And our response is, I was angry. And now the word anger and the association to the things you weren't supposed to do get mixed together. So we say, I guess it's a sin to be angry. Now, technically speaking, anger is not a sin. Anger is an emotion. Emotions, in particular passive emotions, things that happen to us, we weren't planning to be angry, we became angry because of the setting around us or the things we were thinking about. It's passive, it's happened to me. That can't be a sin. I have very little control over what's happening to me. I have some control over the things I decide to dwell on. So perhaps I have to keep myself from getting too angry by not dwelling on the things that anger me. But in some way we have to learn how to manage our anger. That's much more important than saying don't ever be angry. Now, at the root of anger is a sense of injustice. When things are not the way they're supposed to be, we get angry. And it's interesting because sometimes that has something to do with the intentions of others, the motivations of others, rather than the actual situation. C.S. Lewis has a great example in the book Mere Christianity. He talks about if you were walking onto a bus and a person accidentally put their foot out and you tripped over it and fell, and they apologized to you immediately, you might forgive them right away. But if you walked into the bus and somebody stuck their leg out trying to trip you, and you stepped over the leg, never even fell, never even got hurt, you might be so angry because they attempted to hurt you. Their intention, their motivation was the injustice. Not so much did you or did you not get hurt, but what was unjust about what they were doing. So the injustice of it, the proper response is anger. Anger needs to be managed in some way. Because we could say, because I'm angry, I have a license to do whatever I decide comes next. This is what we're trying to teach children. When they are angry, does not give them a right to smack somebody else, to break something, to throw a tantrum. You have to take responsibility for your emotions. And though these emotions happen to us, and I may or may not be able to stop them, prevent them from coming, I still have a responsibility on what I do with those emotions. They are not a license. I cannot just because of my emotion somehow justify doing sin. So the sin actually comes after. What do I do with the sin? Of the 7 deadly sins, one is called wrath. Sometimes people just call it anger, but it isn't just anger. Wrath is releasing my violence upon others in the name of anger. That I'm not trying to put things right. I'm not even trying to teach you a lesson. I have been angered, and therefore I justify violence on some level. It might be just in words, it might be belittling somebody, but I'm trying in some way to harm the other person in some way. Not to correct them, not even to get them to realize that they hurt you, but just because I'm angry. And so it's like spreading the discontent. The anger is an ugly feeling I don't like, so I'm going to make you feel in a way you don't like either. I'm going to express this negative feelings that I have in such a way that makes everyone feel this negative effect. It is not holy. It is not virtuous. So we do need to manage our anger. At the same time, the goal is not to get rid of anger altogether. There are occasions when it makes sense to be angry. When somebody is doing an injustice, perhaps somebody was being racist in public, belittling somebody else, we might want to stand up against that person. Now, it doesn't justify violence. We do not hurt them. We do not even use our words in such a way as to belittle them. But we have a right to say that is unacceptable. And we can feel the tension build within us. We begin to sweat. We can feel our heart pounding. We clench our fists. But you have to maintain a sense of control. You are still responsible for yourself. And just because somebody's done something unjust does not give us permission to unleash our anger upon the world. That's not how it works. All right? So, as we go forward into this, let's put it in the context of Hope's Garden. Perhaps your ex-spouse has angered you and continues to anger you. Perhaps there's an injustice that is taking place. It is perfectly allowed to say, I will not tolerate that. That is not acceptable. If it is of a certain type, not giving what is due to you in resources or time with your children, you can go the legal route. You can say, absolutely not. I have legal standing, and the legal community will protect my rights. You can also, if somebody were to belittle you in front of others, is to say, I have a right to defend myself. I have a right not to belittle the other person, but to put things right, explain the truth. And sometimes it comes out in an aggressive way, but not in a way that is harmful to the other person. Stand up for yourself. You're allowed to. Let's say you're talking on a phone and somebody continues to tell you all those old lies about how worthless you are. Hang up. Well, isn't that being angry? You are angry, but you're not sinning by hanging up. You simply will not accept that kind of dialogue. You are not going to talk to me that way. And so this kind of is a change. Oh, wait a second. We're not little children. Sometimes our anger is justified, but wrath is never justified. So how do I draw the line between what is an acceptable reaction, where I'm clearly angry, and when it's not an acceptable reaction, even though I'm angry? And so that line is a really good one to contemplate and to bring into prayer and to start to see, am I aiming just to hurt the other person for the sake of hurting the other person? Or am I fixing, correcting something? Am I standing up for my own rights, or am I belittling another? And so that line is really an important one to learn. I hope this helps you in a way to just kind of take away some of that guilt and shame feelings about feeling angry, but also allows you to take a responsibility and a management of that anger in a constructive way rather than in a way that displeases our Lord. God bless you all.